We will build the wall. You know that.
The fence is now basically complete.
To reform our immigration system, we have more to do.
That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more.
Rather than making them or talking about putting up a fence, why don't we work out some recognition of our mutual problems?
Let's start with the basics. The U.S. border with Mexico is almost 2,000 miles long, running from the Pacific Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. There's currently 654 miles of fencing or some type of barrier.
What we're looking at is the border wall that was constructed back in 2009.
The fence in Eloise's backyard was signed into law by President George W. Bush.
The bill I'm about to sign is an important step in our nation's efforts to secure our border and reform our immigration system.
So who voted for this? Why is this fence here?
Well, actually, both there were Republicans and Democrats who voted for this. We were united, and now we're not.
These people approved it just a few years ago, and now all of a sudden they're not. The reason they're not is because of me, I hate to say.
So how did the debate over border security ultimately lead to the longest ever government shutdown?
In the 1990s, there was a significant amount of undocumented immigration across the U.S.-Mexico border. Just groups of migrants who would run through the port at San Isidro to get into the United States.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country.
So Bill Clinton became the first president to order a 17-mile barrier to be built along the Mexico border. At the same time, the number of undocumented people in the country was increasing.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
So when the next president took office, the debate shifted towards comprehensive immigration reform.
There was very famously in early September a hearing in the Senate Judiciary Committee. 2 days later was 9/11, and that changed the context of all debates. The immigration system was put under a microscope. That's when the fence became, again, a very big part of the debate.
We are launching the most technologically advanced border security initiative in American history.
I would also say that the overall rhetoric around immigration was somewhat different. You had a Republican president who was trying to work across the aisle with Democrats on comprehensive immigration reform, and the Fence Act came in that context.
America needs to conduct this debate on immigration in a reasoned and respectful tone.
Barack Obama, who voted for the Fence Act, saw it as a first step to get Republicans to the table.
Then they wanted a fence. Well, the fence is now basically complete.
Fence aside, Obama's crackdown on immigration took the shape of more than 2 million deportations during his time in office.
He deported actually more people than President Trump has. Part of it was the tactic or belief that the administration had that if they could show that they were tough on immigration enforcement, that could pave the way toward comprehensive immigration reform conversations with Republicans.
Despite a decrease in apprehensions at the border in the following years, due in part to the fence, that reform never happened. And then in 2015, a certain billionaire rolled down the escalator.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
President Trump's rhetoric around immigration is significantly harder. It is significantly harsher. He is taking a very strong tone when it comes to immigrants and linking immigration and immigrants to crime and terrorism without a lot of evidence and statistics to back it up.
An impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
And I think that shift in tone and rhetoric, and again, Democrats feeling that politically it's in their advantage to be much more pro-immigration.
Put the DREAM Act on the floor for a vote in the House and Senate.
Their priorities are around the undocumented and dreamers, and border security is, and for a lot of them, the price they must pay to get that, but they're not sure how much big a price they're willing to pay.
From here on this border, Washington seems as entrenched as ever. So then,